need to have happen this week. I need my Ashley Farrell booth cam because I want to see Mike and Ramon dance to that one. I mean, do you guys will that be like the slow dance at the 8th grade deal? Because here's what I can't figure out. I'm in isolation down there. And, I mean, Philip Noel, our engineer, heard me one game and he took me out of his ears so he doesn't have to hear me the rest of the time because I talk too much. Brad Willis will tell me to be quiet in a much politer way than that most of the time. But I'm watching that video, and I can't figure out if Brad Willis is that busy or if he's like the preacher in Footloose and he's just an anti-dance guy the entire time. I'm not real sure what's going on there, Ramon.
Hey, he's trying to control the fools up there, okay? That's what he's doing. He was trying to work, and we were trying to do everything to stop him from being productive. And you know what? He danced afterwards. I just want you to know that, too.
And what do we think Swain has in his headset? Because no one is more stoic than Jason Swain is for 4 hours. Like, he has the most camera-aware human being that there's ever been in a booth. I don't want a camera near me, by the way. But yeah. Swain just looks forward the whole time and never moves. Good or bad. He's just there.
I personally can't understand it because most athletes I know when they're inside of the stadium hubs, to your point, they get going. Eventually they get up. Eventually you see a head bob. I don't know what's going on in Swain's mind. I'm with you. I want to figure it out, but the more I feel like we dive into that conversation, the less we'll know.
All I know is must-watch TV is the Ashley Farrell reel on Sunday or Monday when she produces something out of that booth because a couple of you guys are acting a fool up there.
Yeah, a couple of us are. You can name us. You know who we are. Lucas asked me earlier, Hubs, he was just like, man, you guys got to be having fun. I was like, everybody on that team got the University of Tennessee somewhere in their house, and it's different when it's fun. It's different when you win, too, right? So we're allowed to at this point, right, Hubs?
Well, you're allowed to have fun, and hopefully Tennessee can play well enough Saturday night against Oklahoma to give you a chance to enjoy the winning aspect of it and continue to have fun. You're going to have fun regardless, but this one's big Saturday night for both teams. Huge ball game.
Mm-hmm. I do want to see the Mike Keith, Ramon Foster booth view, just that challenge of getting down to the spooky version of Rocky Top. Like, there's not a lot of rhythm to latch onto there. So I look forward to seeing that.
Lucas, did you not watch the video? I don't think there was any rhythm, period.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe if it drops into the banjo and then it just hits regular Rocky Top. But no, I know it'll be rocking under the lights on Saturday. Brent Hubbs of VolQuest's, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. So, Brent, I guess we're going to find out Saturday to an extent just how correctable the defensive issues are, right, for Tennessee. Has that kind of been the theme of the week in Knoxville in your conversations?
Yeah, I mean, it's be better. Not great, be better. And too many missed tackles, too many simple plays that they're giving up. I mean, the wide receiver screen for 71 yards should never happen. Absolutely never happen. You got to play that one better. You got two people over there. You can't let yourself get out of position and allow a play like that to happen. The deep ball, Boo Carter, just terrible technique at the line of scrimmage. So they've just got to do some simple things better. And I think Mike said this yesterday on the show, Ramon. I mean, you don't have to suddenly go from being to being an A+ defense or the Steel Curtain or the Baltimore Ravens. You've just got to eliminate the really bad plays. Just be a little more boring or a little more average. Now, I don't know that they're built to be average like they were last year, and what I mean by that is last year you got them in 3rd and long, you played at the sticks, your secondary got you off the field, you didn't have to have a sack. It was kind of boring defense at times last year. I think this team's going to have to have this defense is going to have negative plays. And so the question is, how many negative plays can they generate against John Mateer? And I'm going to tell you something. Oklahoma, the last 2 games, has gotten better running the football with the running back, just a more of a traditional run game. Tennessee's going to have to fit some gaps and not let them get that kind of balance. They really need it in John Mateer's hands the entire game.
Brent Hubbs with us of VolQuest's on 3. Hubbs, with that being the case, you talk about this running game. Arion Carter's got 2 turf toes and has been playing through them a little bit. What's the answer at that position? Do you go Jaden Pilati? Do you go Jaden Harmon? Do you go Edwin Spillman? What's the substitute for this situation to control that run game?
Well, I think it's Spillman and I think it's Perlotti is where you go. Jaden Harmon's in there, but to me, it looks like based on the rotation and what they did a week ago, he's a little bit further down, so to speak. So I think you're going to play Thielander and Spillman and Perlotti as your top three, and then Harmon would be there. And we'll see. I mean, Arion in his heart of hearts wants to go and is trying to go. It's just the question's going to be, how well can he move? He got to the point late in that Alabama game where he just couldn't get anywhere laterally. I mean, he just could not get there and realized that it was more of a detriment than he was anything else. And so that's why they went without him kind of in the fourth quarter at Alabama. So I think he's he's questionable. They're going to list him as questionable, I think, all the way up to probably be a game time decision. And then we'll see from there. I mean, he is doing everything he can to try to go, but I just don't know, A, if he can at all, and B, if he does go, I'm not sure how long he lasts before it just gets to the point that he can't effectively play, and that's what he's dealing with right now.
There's one guy on that team besides John Mateer that you got to control, and it's Isaiah Satena. Who's going to be employed with having him? Is Colton Hood going to roll? Do you put the young freshman, Redmond, on him? What's the game plan for a guy like him? Because I feel like you get the same sentiments of what happened in Georgia when they got these fast scat guys in Mississippi State, which the Vols knocked theirs out. But Satenga's a weapon, man, and he can take the top off the defense too.
Well, I think if he's out wide, I think you're going to see Colton Hood on him. And we saw Colton Hood travel some, and what I mean by that is flip side some. In the Alabama game with some of the stuff with Ryan Williams. If you go back to that Alabama game, remember Alabama's backed up inside their 5, and it was totally legal, so I'm not ripping on Kalen DeBoer at all, but he substituted Ryan Williams in late. They basically broke the huddle with 10, and then Williams came on the field. Well, when he came on the field, he got matched up against Ty Redmond, and they throw a 6-yard out off the goal line, and now they're the second 4, and they've got room to breathe and that type of thing. Tennessee would like to get Colton Hood matched up as much as they can this week on him for Oklahoma. You know, there'll be times that it doesn't happen, and you just got to go play. And Ty Redmond's got to have more confidence in his game, Ramon. You know, his pass interference penalty he had at Kentucky was just a bit of a panic move right at the end. He was in really good position. I mean, he was in a good spot to make that play, and just didn't turn and play the ball. He kind of got out of sorts where he was and grabbed and didn't need to do that. So he needs a good start to get going and try to get himself sort of settled in. And Tennessee's got to help him up front. You know, 1 sack the last 8 quarters, not enough for that defensive front. They've got to be more disruptive on the quarterback.
I see it in the War Room. By the way, if you guys aren't subscribed to VolQuest or On3, you absolutely should go and do that. VolQuest.com, or you can go to On3 and find the VolQuest guys, man. Some of the best to do it. But this War Room article, you mentioned something that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I've heard it, but I didn't know it was this big of a conversation. You mentioned Lane Kiffin talking about Brent Venables and his reputation of stealing signals. How far does this go, allegedly? Because I don't want to get you or me in trouble right here, Hubs.
Well, I mean, it's one of those deals where in the coaching circles, Brent Venables is known for being a guy who that's what they do, and the whatever lengths they can go to within reason. You know, they're not flying helicopters over the top of practice fields and stuff like that, but you know, that you got to be mindful of that. I mean, Lane Kiffin didn't just pull that out of air when he said, you know, Auburn should have probably changed their signals, because there were a couple of plays that Oklahoma appeared to know exactly what was coming. And so in the coaching world, it's known. And it's not a thing where people just can't stand Brent Venables or he doesn't have respect from people. You just know when you play him that's part of what they do, and you have to be mindful about switching up your signals and different indicators on what a signal is, and maybe you communicate more just through the helmet, and the quarterback creates some communication that way. But certainly we learned last year that it's something Josh Heupel in Tennessee takes seriously, and they certainly have done that this year as well.
Hubs, when you look at this running game that the Vols have, too, like it hadn't been the running game of last year or the year before. Is it bothersome to you that they only got 100 yards at Kentucky and Bama didn't really get anything until late? Or is it because Coach Heupel trusts Joey Aguilar so much more in the wide receiver group?
No, it's bothersome to me because here's the thing with the run game. It's, can you get it when you got to have it? And I don't know that Tennessee is doing that well enough right now, or they have enough confidence in there. I mean, no offense to them in the Kentucky game, but I mean, 70 yards of that came in the fourth quarter when Kentucky was done. So that's a hollow 106 or 108, whatever they finished with there.
108.
It's taken it a little too long to get going. Some of that, I think, is some running backs, lack of patience at times. Other times they've not blocked it up well enough. They've faced a variety of different fronts, but this offensive line, this is their biggest test this week in both the run game and in pass protection. That they've leaked a little bit in pass pro the last 2 weeks. When you look at, the 4 sacks they gave up at Alabama, 3 in the first half. They gave up a sack last week on a miscommunication against Kentucky. They're going to have to be excellent in pass protection this week. And they've got to run it. They've got to have some semblance of balance there. Now, you sit there and talk about the run game like against Georgia, and well, they should not have run it in the first quarter. I mean, the quarterback's 15 or 15, right? Mm-hmm. But when they got the ball and they had it with a chance to put that game away and take a double-digit lead, and they ran it 3 times, they didn't get it done. They've got to be able to be more effective when they have to have it, and there's not been enough of that with Tennessee. So they do think they have to run it better, not for the tune of 250 yards or anything like that, but they've got to be more effective running the football than they have been, in my opinion.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest's with us, presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union. How much of a matchup advantage, Brent, is Tennessee's wide receiver room versus this Oklahoma secondary tomorrow?
Well, if you can protect up front, I like Tennessee's wide receiver room against any secondary out there, to be frank. I think those guys are playing really well. I think some of the different stuff that Tennessee's doing in their offensive scheme now helps them as well. So I think there's a little bit of, 2 ways of going about it. Kentucky made a business decision last week to say, hey, we're not sure Joey Aguilar can throw it consistently enough deep. And he only went 7 for 7 and the ball thrown 20 yards in the air. I don't think Oklahoma's going to play that. If they do, Josh Heupel might dance like Ramon Foster dances if he looks out there and sees man-on-man coverage like that all the time. So I think Oklahoma will mix it up. They'll play some man because they got enough pride in who they are. They'll play man in some spots, but they won't play it as much as Kentucky does. So what does Tennessee do against zone? What's the answer when there's some 2 safety high looks and they're trying to take the deep stuff away? That's where Braylon Staley has to go eat, and he has to go to work. And he did against Alabama with 10 catches. And the creation of the slot receiver effectiveness with Staley this year compared to what they were getting last year out of the slot spot makes Tennessee harder to defend in the passing game. And I think that's a positive when you go against a good defense like Tennessee's going to go against on Saturday.
Does this feel like a big opportunity for you defensively, for Tennessee, to kind of get back to what they were doing in the first half of the season and affecting the quarterback? Kind of a leaky Oklahoma offensive line the last couple weeks, and obviously John Mateer hasn't quite looked like himself since that thumb surgery.
Well, if Tennessee's going to win, they've got to make Mateer uncomfortable, and they've got to tee off, and they've got to get some pressure. They've also got to play rush lanes, meaning your linebackers are going to have to wrap some in coverage. You need to squeeze the pocket down like they did early against Arkansas and not let the quarterback leak out. You got 2 young tackles coming to play for Oklahoma. I don't think that's as big a deal as it used to be because young players are playing more. I mean, used to when you say you're playing a freshman tackle, it was like, but that's not the case now. These guys are more ready to play, as we've seen with David Sanders. But hostile crowd, night game. Oklahoma hasn't experienced this. This group's only been on the road really one time, and that was a day affair against South Carolina. Now, they had the Red River rivalry in Dallas, but that crowd's about 50-50 with the way that game is put on. So this one's different, and Tennessee's crowd has to be in it early. Defensively, they need a couple of stops early to keep the crowd in it, Ramon, and keep them going. So you got to get off the field on 3rd down. But, I mean, you've got to try to make life hard for those offensive tackles. Joshua Joseph has to get back to not just pressuring or making the quarterback move. They got to finish at the quarterback better than they finished the last 2 weeks.
Hubbs, on the recruiting side of things, man, it's been 3 times I think David Gabriel Georges has been to Knoxville. He's a projected future 5-star running back that's out of Baylor and Chattanooga. What is that recruitment looking like for him? Is it just logistics and why he's showing up, or do they have a lot of momentum with him?
No, I think they got a lot of momentum with him. I think they're absolutely dead in the middle of it. The one thing about his visit is he's not just come up by himself or come up with an assistant coach. He's had family come with him, and the family doesn't live in Chattanooga. They've come from different places, and he'll have more family coming in with him this weekend as well. So I think the positive with that is not just David coming up to watch a football game, but the influences in his world that will help him through the decision-making process. They won't make the decision for him, but people he leans on during the process are making the trip to Knoxville with him, and I think that's a positive for Tennessee. Tennessee has got we don't have enough time in this segment. They've got a laundry list of guys coming in. I mean, this is a really good weekend of players who are coming in for this game. It's obviously a huge game. It's the biggest game in the SEC. It's got a lot of people flocking this way, both in the class of 27, 28, and a bunch of committed players too. So Tennessee needs to capitalize on this one with a great environment on Saturday night. Obviously, they need to play well. This is a game Tennessee's done two things with this game. One, they have been begging for a night game all season long. They requested the SEC that this be a night game if any way possible. This be their night game. They've gotten that, and they built this game built recruiting around this game. This is the game that they've kind of earmarked for a lot of recruiting stuff. They've had other weekends where they've had good players. Georgia, they had a lot of good players in. But this one's different this week with the volume of players and the quality of players that are coming in.
I look at the list. Lord, it is a long list of guys, man. Lucas got an opportunity last night to see Joel Wyatt, too. He called the game, by the way.
Friday Night Rivals call of Oakland Riverdale. I mean, just the vertical alone, Brent. Talk about a physical athletic profile. Joel Wyatt, impressive. So he'll be on campus tomorrow.
Yep, he will, and he is impressive. I mean, just you look at that frame, you look at his body, you look at the way he plays, and you go, yeah, okay, that's an SEC player. I mean, that one's, I mean, I'm not a talent evaluator, but that one's like, yeah, okay, next.
We talked about that earlier.
Who else do you need me to look at? Because I know what that one does. Okay, next, that's Joel White. And that's what you're looking for if you're going to recruit at the level you need to recruit at to try to be a playoff team. You need a lot more. You need to land a lot more guys where you go, yeah, next one. Let me look at the next one, as opposed to, man, I need to see 3 or 4 more games to know. I'm not sure. I mean, you want a bunch of laydowns that are obvious SEC players, and Joel White is obviously not just an SEC player, but he's an elite college football prospect.
It's funny. That's the exact same thing we said. When you see that type, you know that type. It's like, okay, yeah, he checks the box.
Yeah. That was an easy eval. That one doesn't take. That's what they did with you, Ramon. They looked at you and went, "Oh yeah, next."
Yeah,
they pay people for this.
Exactly. We'll get them together when he get on campus. But that doesn't just walk around for free right there anymore. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
That's exactly right.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest's with us. Brent, appreciate the time. Look forward to hearing you down on the field and Ramon up in the booth along with Mike Keith on the Vol Network call.
Thanks, Hubbs.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See y'all.
Sir.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union. Tennessee, Oklahoma